Welcome back to Eat Like Ruby podcast, guys. You have Rubes and G here today. I'm G.
I'm Rubes. I feel like that summed us up perfectly. Yeah. You with the hype and me like, I'm Rubes.
I'm Ruby. I'm here to dish facts, straight facts. Yeah. We are doing 30 training questions today, and Ruby has 1 minute to answer each one. So if you were here last week, it's exactly the same, just training version.
Yeah, well, if you weren't here last week, what are you doing?
Go back and watch it. It was all nutrition.
Yeah, so last
questions.
week we did exactly this with nutrition. Now we're doing it today with training.
Yay! So fun for the training girlies.
So fun.
Just to quickly go back over the rules, Rubes has 1 minute to answer each question. If she answers the question within 30 seconds, she accumulates time in lieu of 30 seconds. So if she goes over the 30, she doesn't, obviously.
Yeah, I live for the loo.
She does live for the loop. So then she can drop some mic drops if she needs to.
Yeah, sometimes I need it.
A little bit of extra.
It's like a safety net for me.
Do you want to do any fluffy stuff at the start? Or you just want to get straight into it?
No, I don't think we need any fluffy stuff.
Okay. I hope you're all having a really good day.
Oh, you know what we should say? Okay, so last week we plugged... Yeah. And I've cut her off. Last week we plugged the fat loss phase several times. Quickly do the maths. I'd say this is going to come out mid-June. Fat loss phase probably has a week or two left to join.
Yes.
If you're thinking about doing it,
do it.
Literally. That's all I've got. Sometimes people will kind of DM me and they'll be like, I'm thinking about joining. And that's great. That's awesome. Have your process. But we're doing it whether you're in it or not. I'm just going to say that. The fat loss phase is starting on July 1st, whether you're in it or not.
Yes.
If you've got a fat loss goal,
get around it.
I'd be in it because I'm going to be there. I'm going to be going off. Whether there's one person or 200 people, I don't mind. I've got plenty to say.
Rubes is doing her personal fat loss phase as of July 1st.
Oh, I am. Yeah. So I'm actually fat loss phasing at the same time as the fat loss phasers. And yeah, I just think it's one of those things where people kind of linger. And like I said, that's fine. Have your process, do your thing. But just know she's full steam ahead July 1st with or without you.
You should get on the bus.
If you've got a fat loss goal, it should be with you.
Okay, well.
So yeah, fat loss phase will be starting July 1st. I'd say that's a week or two from now. I can't do the maths on when this app will come out. But let's do the damn thing.
Okay, let's get straight into it. Question number 1. If you had to pick, should people mix up exercises all the time or repeat the same few movements forever?
Oh, that's a great question. If you had to pick.
Yeah, go. You have 1 minute.
If I didn't have to pick, I'd say it's a sweet spot between we want enough repetition for consistency, but then we want to mix it up every now and then for variation and to not get stagnant.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick, I'd probably say stick with the same shit. Find the shit that you're really good at and works really well for you and your genetics and your makeup and whatever.
Yeah.
And then just get after it with those things. But I wouldn't advise that if you didn't have to.
Nice. Already time in lieu for Rubes, 30 seconds.
I'm good at this.
You are. You even had a little couple seconds to spare. Wow. Okay.
Does that get me anything in life or no?
No. Strictly 30 seconds on the clock. Okay. Question number 2. Do I need to squat to grow my glutes? Go.
Great question. No, we don't need to. We definitely don't have to. If there's injury reason that we can't squat, whatever. I personally don't back squat, front squat. I don't even do many actual squats. I do a lot of unilateral push work, which is split squats, single leg press, that sort of thing. So a squat is essentially a lower body push, and we want to have some form of a lower body push in our training. So squat is obviously a great option for that if we can and we want to and it works. But if there's a reason that you can't, I would just find the other ways that you can push weight with your lower body.
Nice. I'm the same. I don't squat in my
I wasn't split. Okay, I'm going to use my 20 seconds.
Yeah, go.
I don't actually put myself under pressure. We want to pull, push, and do some sort of thrust or bridge variation. So we want to just make sure we can cover all 3 of them. Like I said, squat can be a great option, but it's not necessary. Not essential.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Were you saying something?
Oh, I was just saying that I don't squat in my split either.
Yeah. I will
sometimes if I do a little accessory narrow stance.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I'll do goblet oil. I love heel elevated.
Yeah, narrow heel.
But I had an adductor injury. That was years ago. But I hate loading in that range on the adductor. If you think about squat, your knees go out. big stretch on the adductor.
Yeah.
Don't love it. As opposed to like a split squat or a single leg press or whatever, the adductor doesn't really come into range. So for me, I'm just a bit biased where I'm like, "Ugh, no thanks." And I think like a back squat is a big deal. I've spoken about this before, but I don't program back squats until like way into training for people. Like I would never give someone back squat in week 1. It's so, you see some programs where it's just like day 1, deadlift back squat. And it's like,
crazy.
Fuck.
Yeah, that is crazy.
There's so much skill in that people don't realize.
I saw like these couple young girls in the gym like the other day, and they were like, it's so hard being, not even as a trainer, but just someone that you see kids in the gym squatting weight that they shouldn't be, and they're like dangerously going to hurt themselves.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so hard. It's like not really your place, and you also don't want to scare them. You also don't want to scare them out of the gym. But it's like, and it was only maybe like 40 kilos, but you can tell that it was probably their first time ever squatting. And it is scary. It's a massive movement.
Yeah, for sure. And especially when you think about how many people have lower back issues.
Yeah.
So nearly every person you speak to on the planet has a lower back issue.
Yeah.
And then when you think about just loading weight on your spine, you want to know that you're good at it before you do that.
Yeah, that's why I like deadlifts and hip thrusts, because we're on the ground.
Same. 100% safety.
We're on the ground. Safety first here.
Safety
Eat like
for
Ruby.
life.
Okay. Question 3. Is a deadlift a back or a leg exercise? Go.
Oh, great question.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to use all of those things. I personally program it on a leg day because we're moving more and working more through the legs. Like the lats and the back and everything are engaged to hold it, but they're not like moving through, like they're not like loaded and going through range when we think about it. Whereas the legs are. Like the legs are getting behind that. And if you think about your deadlift compared to your bent over row, like 99.9% of people are going to deadlift heavier than they're going to row.
Yeah.
So we load up a deadlift. It's the legs that are getting that done. It's not the lats that are getting that done. So I personally like to factor it into leg day. If you're someone that does splits of like back day, leg day, whatever, I like to separate them a little bit for that reason. Like separate your back day a little bit from your leg day.
Yeah.
Because it's still going to get a bit of work.
Yeah. Perfect. Love.
Yeah.
Unreal. You're killing this. Okay, question 4. How many sets per week to build muscle, e.g. biceps? I'm thinking they're meaning like how many times a week should you train that muscle group?
Yeah, or how many sets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go. 1 minute.
That's really interesting that they said biceps because it is going to be different per muscle. Because if you think about something like a quad compared to a bicep, a quad is so much bigger. It's going to like be able to handle more sets. It's going to require more sets to hit the point of progressive overload and failure and all the things that we need it to hit to actually warrant muscle growth.
Yeah.
So if you think about biceps, it's quite a small muscle. It's quite a small movement. Therefore, it doesn't require as much loading.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would say like twice a week, and then I'd be looking at anywhere from like 3 to 8 sounds extreme, but I would say 3 to 8 sets only for the fact that like you'd want to go 1 to 2 exercises, 3 to 4 sets on the bicep twice a week.
Makes sense. Yep.
So I hope that answered. And really you're just thinking, I want to train this muscle to a point where it's progressively overload. It's quite close to failure. It's going into that growth phase. And then I rest it for a few days and I go again.
Perfect.
Yeah. I've still got 30 seconds.
You do have 30 seconds in the...
I need to slow down.
Yeah. No, it's fine. You're doing great. Rubes, this next question is so funny to me. I actually haven't pre-read these questions. This is straight from Instagram, so we're all learning together.
Good.
And the question number 5 is, what app do we use? So I'm assuming what training app we use.
Yeah. Because the person, like, we had a nutrition box and a training box, so they would have put that in the training box.
Yeah. So what app do we use?
Why is this funny? Because we're having an ordeal with So we do use Trainerize, but we use the highest like studio. It's
got all the bells and whistles.
A lot of money. Yeah, it's an ordeal. And essentially like we do that so it can be branded as Eat Like Ruby. We have all our own videos in there. Like it is, the base of it is Trainerize, but then we've given Trainerize a lot to custom it to be like basically our own.
Yeah. And by the time this is out, you could probably just app store Eat Like Ruby and there's an app in there.
Yeah. So it's taken us months and 700 million emails.
Big
and
wins.
I literally had to sit down with G at one point and be like, okay, like, I love you, but I've put a lot of time and money into this. Where is my app?
Where's the app? Yeah, I know. Trust me. Me and Apple
she was
are like friends.
Don't ask. And I'm like, no, but I'm asking.
Yeah.
But we use Trainerize, and then we've got all the bells and whistles to customize it for us.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Maybe that was a trainer asking.
Yeah.
You never know. You
Yeah.
assume so.
A lot of trainers do ask that, actually. I feel like we've used it for so long, and at one point I trialed it, like sort of looked into another one, and then you know when you just like are so used to one thing, you're like, fuck, it would be huge to change.
Yeah.
Like it would be huge for us to change.
You'd have to like run like a few months on different.
Oh, and then you'd have both, and then no, who needs it?
No thanks. Okay. I always think about that. It's not always just like Ruby clients. It could be like coaches and stuff that want to like just know.
So many
Ruby's
coaches.
system.
I literally got a DM yesterday from a coach who said, like, I love your podcast and I've just got started in the industry. I literally learned so much.
That's
like
awesome.
It was the nicest message. Yeah.
Well, I've learned heaps just like from listening to you like
So
record.
what you're saying is you should be paying me.
No, maybe.
I like do your pay and then I'm like minus education.
Education.
Yeah, tuition.
to take into my coaching every week.
Yeah.
Okay. Question number 6, guys. Reformer Pilates as recovery day or as an accessory part of a weight day?
Oh, geez.
1 minute. Go. Remember you do have time in lieu of 30
Great
seconds.
question.
You're on the clock.
I think it could be either, just depending on what you're. I think you need to look at the whole training split. It's kind of hard to say. Obviously, if you're doing like a super heavy leg day and then you go to reformer the next day and they smash like glutes, lower body, etc., a little bit of a conflict there. But if you're, maybe doing legs on a Monday and then you go to reformer on Wednesday and it's kind of like a full body thing, that would be fine. You go back, do legs Friday.
Yep.
So I think I would just be looking at like more so, what did they actually ask?
It's pretty much asking like, would you
Is it a rest day or
would you say you could do Pilates on top of weights on the same day or
I wouldn't do it on the same day.
an accessory part of a weight day?
I wouldn't do it on the same day because if you did Pilates first, you'd get to gym and you're like pre-fatigued muscles that you want to like fucking get after it with heavy weights.
Yeah.
And then if you went the other way around, you've just cooked your muscles, and then I'll go into overtime.
Yeah.
If you've like cooked yourself in the gym, you want to push the point to failure. There's no point then like going upstairs to the Pilates place and doing another hour.
They're also saying like reformer Pilates as a recovery day. Are you kind of saying like Pilates shouldn't be recovery, like it's a day of training?
I think no, I don't think it's a day of training.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's like a bit of an accessory on the side of training.
Yeah.
But not on the same day.
Yeah. I think that's super clear.
Yeah.
Nice.
And now I've got no bloody time up my sleeve.
Yeah, but the Pilates girls have all the info. Snaps
That's
for
probably
them.
not in Rubes. He just made me more confused.
Okay. Oh, this is a really good question, guys. I like this question.
I'll be the judge of that.
Okay. Question 7. Leg day program layout. Does the structure really matter? E.g., compounds or isolation first? Go. 1 minute.
Oh, love it. Yeah, I'm
Told you.
personally a fan of I like to go one exercise as a little bit of a like warm up, activation, mobility, but start lifting heavy kind of thing. And then I would go big, heavy compounds and then isolations. If we think about big, heavy compounds like a deadlift, hip thrust, squat, whatever, you want to be like warmed up and mobile, but fresh and able to get after it. I don't think you want to go and do a bunch of like cable kickbacks, leg extensions, all those things, and then go get in the squat rack.
Yeah.
You've literally pre-fatigued the quads, you've pre-fatigued everything. That's not activation. People talk about like glute activation, rah, rah, rah. There's a very big difference between activation versus pre-fatigued.
Yeah.
And I think you've completely missed the point of a compound lift if you've pre-fatigued a muscle before you got there. The point of a compound is like, I want to go heavy, I want to go as hard as I can.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be able to do that if you're cooked.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, cool. So question number 8. Oh God, your community knows you so well.
Fans.
Your community knows you so well. You've got a question here for number 8. Favorite exercise besides working on hammies? Give us something.
Like my favorite exercise?
Yes, go. 1 minute.
Oh, I love it. I love split squats. I love what we call like ass to grass split squats. And it's like front foot elevated, back foot behind you, drop down into the split squat, and don't be scared for the front knee to go over the toe. I think for so long people were like, no knees over toes. Bullshit. If you're doing shit right and you've got good range, you've got good technique, if you do that, if you're a person, here's a lesson, if you're a person who does split squats and lunges and is like, I only feel it in my quads, send the knee forward. Don't roll forward. Don't hunch forward. Don't like fold down onto your legs. Still keep torso and everything really strong, but send all of your weight forward so that the foot that's on the step, that glute goes into like a big stretch, big range.
Yeah.
Then push through that heel to come back up out of it. I've completely missed the mark on the question, but that is one of my favorites. But that is something I personally love.
No, you've hit the nail on the head. That's your favorite other than hammies.
And I don't even know if it's my favorite, but it's one of them.
Whenever
love it.
I'm on the
I love my dead
hammy
stop
curl, I think
push-ups as well. We all know I love those dead stop push-ups. Yeah, the hammy curl.
But you're not allowed to say that.
Yeah, it's just so great. I'm going to get one in my house and then I'm never going to leave.
Oh. You actually would.
And imagine we're having Zoom meetings and I'm just laying on the hammy curl.
If I had to get one in my house, it would probably be leg extension.
No way.
Yeah.
Love it.
Love the quads.
Shit.
Yeah. If I'm a maintenance calorie, will I still?
I've been, like my quads are just booming in this gaining phase.
Yeah, your quads are insane.
They're insane. Just in case everyone was wanting like an update and a weird flex from me while we wait for the question.
I was just pre-reading. Make sure
My
I said
quads
it
are
right.
insane.
Okay, question 9. If I'm at maintenance calories, will I still tone/shape, or does it require a surplus? 1 minute, go.
Oh God, the $1 million question. Everyone's like, "Fuck, tell me I don't have to go into the surplus." Yes, over time, yes. If you're truly eating at maintenance, protein is good. The intake is good, like you're actually eating at maintenance and you've got structured, progressive, consistent resistance training in place. Yes, you will gradually build shape and tone over time. Obviously, if we push into a bit more of a surplus, we're going to speed that up. It's going to be a bit more intensified, like we're just going to get more bang for our buck in that time. But definitely I literally cannot stress it enough. Actually eat at maintenance. Find the top end of your maintenance. We've spoken before about the fact that maintenance will be a range. Find the most food you can eat before you feel uncomfortable. Consistently eat that every day. Eat double your body weight in protein. No one's going to have to join Eat Like Ruby because they've got everything they need right here. Eat double your body weight in protein. Consistent, structured, progressive resistance training program. You can buy that off us. And then happy days. We're happy, you're happy.
Good job. Nice. We'll just have to like bleep half of it and you have to put it together.
Yeah, we'll bleep out every second word.
Yeah.
Fuck. And then we'll be like, donate here to hear the other words.
Yeah, donate.
Go fund me.
This question is so interesting. It's taken me a while to kind of figure out what it means.
And I've got 1 minute. Right.
But question 10, when calculating calorie targets, do running steps and walking steps count the same?
Yeah, I get this all the time. Yep, they do.
Oh, okay. Do you want to elaborate?
Bonus.
Yeah, you just got time and loop.
Yes, they do, because they're essentially still steps. And obviously when we think about it, like running steps are going to be more energetically demanding, but we have no way of measuring that. We cannot actually look and go, oh, but how much more? How many more calories? How much more energy, etc. So this is where, I've said this a million times, you need to, if you're working towards a goal, like if I think about that question, that person is obviously factoring steps into their nutrition and everything, trying to work towards a goal. No matter the goal, no matter the steps, whatever, you do the calculation and then you hit it for a while and you actually watch how your body responds. We can't know, like there's so many minute details about calories in versus calories out that we can never ever know or measure. So there's always going to be an assessment period.
Yeah.
So this is just part of that. Obviously, if you factor in your steps, whether they come from walking, running, whatever, you get your targets, you get started, and then you're actually doing a lot of running that make up those steps, and then you're like, fuck, I'm hungry and I'm dropping weight like a lunatic.
Yeah.
Ramp things up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not and it's the other way, like you actually just have to go through an assessment period to determine the finer details like that. Yeah. Because there is no way, if we really looked at that, and then people will go, oh, my watch tells me how many calories. No, it doesn't. It's a liar. So the watches are so inaccurate. We know this. So there's no way to measure it. So don't overthink it. Just factor it in, hit it for a while and watch what happens and then adjust.
Perfect.
And if you don't know how to assess and adjust, that's actually call number 4 in the fat loss phase. So you could join and we could teach you.
Nice. Unfortunately, I do have to take away your loo there, even though it was a great answer. It was a really good answer.
I think that was about 5 minutes.
That was a great reel in there.
So can we get a loo update?
0 loo. Oh, shit. 0 seconds in loo, unfortunately. Sorry, Rubes. Moving on. Okay. Question 11 into... Oh, okay. We can definitely accumulate some loo here, so get ready. Yes. Question number 11. Supersets, yay or nay? Go.
Oh, I'm going to have heaps to say about this.
Oh, well, shit. Well, I guess
you
we're
just
not.
started that timer from 56.
Okay, go.
Not
It's on a minute.
Supersets, yay or nay? I think, yes, there can be a time and place. Mm-hmm. I don't personally like to use them. I see people superset like a deadlift and a lunge. To me, I think you're kind of going to miss the mark because, again, like we said before, something like a deadlift is such a big compound lift. If you deadlift, drop that weight, go straight into a lunge, then have a 2-minute rest, when you go to deadlift again, there's significantly more fatigue accumulated. You're not going to lift as heavy as you could if you just rested and fucked off the lunge and then went off into the lunge. So I'm not a fan of them on like big compound lifts like that. I don't mind them towards the end of a session as like a bit of a finisher and burner. Sometimes we do like superset, like leg extension with a wall sit or leg extension with the narrow squat, something like that. Things that are a bit lighter and you can kind of like rep out almost. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Can I have a side note on that?
Yeah, go on.
I think coaches also need to factor in when you're writing a program for someone. I think I've said this before a long time ago, but we forget that some people are maybe a little bit nervous to go to the gym, or some people, you think about coaches, most coaches go to the gym at 1 o'clock in the day. Yeah. Because they can. Most clients go to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock at night with the rest of Australia. If you've written someone a program that's like superset, leg press, leg extension, leg curl, that person is either like, if they're a little bit nervous and anxious about going to gym, they're now like, okay, cool, I have to take up 3 machines. Everyone's going to fucking hate me. Yeah. And also think about the fact like gyms hopefully are smarter than this, but the leg press could be on one side, the leg extension could be on the other. Yeah. So I'm always mindful of writing a program for a person like, is this actually doable? Yeah. Even when we think about squat rack, if someone's like squat rack and then leg extension. Yeah. Most people are lining up for a rack. No one wants to be the person that's like, oh, I'm actually going to leg extension, but I'll be back. Yeah, yeah. Not practical. So I think you just have to think about exactly the practicality of factoring it in. And I think if we think about those little things at the end, sometimes I'll go like tricep exercise superset with like bench dips to finish. It's like you can do it right there next to each other. Yeah. No one's going to tell you to fuck off. Yeah. I'm a big supersetter. Oh, huge. After I've just shit all over it. Yeah. So that's why I was like... That's so funny because one of my supersets I do is deadlift and split squat. Stop. So when you said that, I was like, yeah. Attacked. Yeah. Okay. But I mean, we could totally break it down, but we don't have the time. Like what sounds. Okay. Question 12, guys. Drop sets, yay or nay? Oh. Go. Yeah, almost kind of the same thing. I think they can be cool. It's just like a bit of a finisher. If people don't know what drop sets are, it's essentially like, let's say leg extension is a great example. Mm-hmm. If you do leg extension at maybe like 30 kilos, and usually we use them on a final set. So you might do 2 sets at 30. You're on your 3rd set. You do your 30 kilos. You hit a point where you're like, okay, cool, I can't do any more reps. Pull the pin out, chuck it in 25. Do as many as you can there. Once you can't do any more, pull the pin out, chuck it in 20. You keep dropping the weight and like repping till failure. So that's a big like train till failure thing. Yeah. So obviously, again, we don't really want to do that on a fucking like lift at the start of a session or like all the time or whatever. I think it's just a cool little thing to have up your sleeve as like a little bit of a burner finisher. Yeah. Love. Makes sense. And also if you think about like a deadlift or a squat, you're not going to fucking pull weights off. Yeah. And then like squat again, pull more off, squat again. Like it's got to be practical again. Some people do. That guy yesterday on the Smith machine. That literally my thoughts exactly. I was like. Yesterday, G and I were trying to film on the Smith machine and I swear this guy had it for like 38 minutes. Yeah. It was insane. He was loving it. He was loving it. Yeah. It was wild. Okay. 10, 11, 12. Okay. Question 13, Rubes. How to get better at pull-ups?
It's a great question.
Love
You've done like a
this.
whole episode on this. I feel like.
I have.
Go.
That was literally what I was about to say. Towards the end of last year, I broke down like all the main lifts that I love and the girls love, how to get better at them. I would say if I had 51 seconds left, I would say I would spend some time actually doing chin-up variations like band-assisted chin-ups, machine-assisted chin-ups, eccentric chin-ups, chin-up holds, that sort of thing. And then I would spend some time coming off the chin-up bar and doing like lat pull-downs, single arm lat pull-downs so you can make sure you're like strengthening both sides, really just mimicking the movement and trying to get stronger. And then have phases where you, like I said, go into like an assisted version if you can't actually do just a normal chin-up. And get the reps in there and then come away from it for a while. I feel like I've spoken about this in so many ways, but I would just get a structured training program from Eat Like Ruby and make sure you're doing chin-up variations and then doing things to strengthen those same muscles outside of the chin-up.
Love it. Love it.
That was close.
It was very
close to going into overtime.
That was very close. Okay, well, similar again.
Oh, yeah, I think this was the same person.
Similar again, we've got how to get better at push-ups. Same sort of thing, I guess.
Yeah, this is the same sort of thing. Like I would just spend time. I love push-up variations. Like I said, obviously we know I love the dead stop. I love tempo. Tempo push-ups are so good. I'm not going to get any time in lieu here because tempo push-ups are so great. I've spoken about this before because people do like half rep kind of shitty push-ups where they'll like almost headbutt the ground, kind of go halfway down, come up.
Yeah.
If we do a tempo, and that's why I love the dead stop as well, because with the dead stop, you have to go to the ground because you take your hands off. If you don't go to the ground, you're going to face plant.
Yeah.
So you actually have to go all the way down, hands off, go again. It forces you to work through the full range. So I love the dead stop, but I love the tempo for the same reason because tempo is like, I love to do like maybe 2 second lower, 3 second hold at the bottom, 1 second push up, something like that, because you're forced to slow down and sit in all parts of it.
Yeah.
So big fan of the variations, and then again, just do some strength work like bench, etc.
Love.
Yeah.
Love it.
And just be consistent with both. That's the thing. Like you've actually just got to get the reps. If you want your body to be better at doing something, you just have to be doing that movement. If you can't actually do a chin-up or do a push-up, think about bench press or lat pull-downs or whatever. What?
Nothing.
I'm going overtime.
No, I was just thinking
that what
about,
you mean?
this is so random.
What?
I do 10 push-ups like during like the day, like on like lunch.
You've done them in
Just
my,
like
you did them in my old kitchen.
Yeah, no. just because I want to be good at them. I just do them randomly through the day to be good at them.
You're getting the reps.
Yeah.
I love it. You can do that on the clock.
Yeah, let's
On
go.
the work clock. You've got permission. If at the end of your Christmas party, you just can fucking belt
like
them out.
50, and they're all try push-ups too.
Yeah, I know. That was actually so random that day you jumped down. And you started doing them. And I'm like, dude, you're doing tricep push-ups. Like, that's gnarly.
Yeah, because I've been practicing every day. I need a pull-up bar in my house.
And then here I am in my kitchen. And G's like, I think this is my window. I think this is my window to show what I've been working on.
I do it if I'm like angry or frustrated. Like channels. Okay,
Right.
Here we go. Oh, this is a good question. I like this question. Question 15. Do we need glute activation?
Oh.
Go.
Personally, I don't think so.
Wow.
Well, do you do shoulder activation? Do you do tricep activation? Do you do lat activation? No. People are like obsessed with, I need glute activation. Why are your glutes not activated? Why do we think the glutes are not activated? Like people have
That's
this obsession with this. And there obviously can be weaknesses, and I know a lot of people do them for physio exercises and whatever. So if you've been told by a medical professional you need to do them, absolutely do them. Yeah. But don't just assume you need to do them and really think about that. Like, why do I think I have to activate my glutes when I literally don't activate anything else? I think a lot of people think they're quad dominant. Like, again, it's something people are like, oh my God, I'm so quad dominant. Like, you're probably not. Just like if your glutes aren't feeling things or whatever, they just need strengthening. They just need work. So that can come from, that activation type of stuff, but it can also just come from like reducing weights and actually working on them, loading them in a way that they can. Can I have some overtime and then...
Yeah, but I'm going to have to duck 30 seconds from somewhere.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll find it somewhere.
Go.
Well, now I've lost my train of thought. Yeah, I think a lot of people want to push like super heavy hip thrusts and all these things. And then they're like, oh, but I don't feel them in my glutes. Fuck the weight off and scale it back until you do feel it in the glutes. actually work the glutes and strengthen them up and then progress the weight from there. And then you won't have weak glutes that don't feel things and need activation because you've actually just strengthened the muscle. Yeah. But I think a lot of people do the glute activation stuff with like a booty band and whatever, and then they do a heavy as fuck hip thrust. And it's like you could have ditched that activation stuff, scaled back the hip thrust and got the glutes going like that.
Yeah,
agree.
Makes sense. Yeah, I actually do agree. I don't do activation.
I don't.
I just do like the stretches, you know, get my hip loose.
Yeah, like we do the warm up in the lower body days in it, like Ruby. And then that was what I was saying before. Like I'll usually do a split squat as one of my first things. And that's a bit of like range, get the glute going, get the legs warmed up, etc. But like, yeah, kind of finding that sweet spot of a weight where like you're working, but you're working in the right way. Yeah.
Agreed. Love it, Rubes. Okay. Moving straight through to question 16. How many days a week should we lift? Go.
Oh.
1 minute.
We don't have to lift a certain amount. I would literally say anywhere from like 2 to 6. I think 4 or 5 is the sweet spot.
Yeah.
But I think we could do anywhere between 2 and 6.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Unfortunately, you don't get time and lieu.
Oh, because I owe time.
Yeah.
Shit.
But that's great. You're back to
I'm
nil.
back to neutral.
Back to neutral. Okay, question 17. Is it bad to train twice a day? Go.
I would say it's not bad. I would just say be clear on why and make sure you're not doing it. Like we don't need to train twice a day for fat loss, weight loss, body composition, toning up, all those things. So if you've got a goal like that, you absolutely do not need to train twice a day. And it can actually be detrimental if we think about everything we know with wanting to train a certain way and then recover and all those things. Overtraining can just kind of fuck that structure and lose it. So if you think you need to get body composition results, you definitely don't. But then it's not bad to do so. Obviously, if we think about Shaq right now, I think we've spoken about his training before. For the Ironman, he's running, swim, bike, gym, all these things. He actually has to train twice a day to get it all done. But then he's also, his goals make a lot of sense for that. He's eating to support that. It's not like, oh my God, I need to do all this crazy training. It's like, no, structured in a way to work towards your goal. In a positive way.
Perfect.
Yeah. So did the person say, is it bad?
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely not bad if you're doing it for the right reasons, in the right way.
Yeah. Perfect. Question 18. How to speed up recovery? Go.
Oh, shit. I would say like don't be obsessed with speeding it up straight away is the first thing I would say. Like if you trained yesterday and you're sore today, don't feel like you've got to speed that up. If you're like sitting in it for a few days, we just want to get like blood flow and get things moving. So even if we've got, say if we trained on Monday and had super sore legs on like Wednesday, Thursday, even doing like really moderate light stuff like cycling or a bit of walking, that sort of thing to just get the blood flow through those legs and like remove the waste. If we think about like soreness and lactic acid, and we spoke about that a little bit last week, that's like a buildup of waste. Your body's like trying to essentially flush that out. So that's why we want to get blood flow. And that's why we do things like sauna and recovery boots, compression, all that is really to just get blood flow. Yes. So really anything that gets things moving a little bit to get the blood flow pumping.
Love it.
Yeah.
Learning so much. We love this. Okay. Question that I'm firing right now.
Breath in this episode.
I'm firing right now. Question 19. How to improve hip and hamstring mobility? Go.
Oh, God, I feel like you can't do that in a minute. How to improve hip? Well, like I feel like it's just like do mobility exercises.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. I would say, yeah, that's kind of, I feel like
what's like your go-to hip mobility?
I feel like it answers itself. The thing I would say is focus on dynamic stretching, not static. So if people don't know the difference there, static is where we kind of like sit still. So think about somebody that just sits down on the floor, puts their leg out straight and reaches towards their toe to stretch their hamstring. Very static. And that in itself, that's more of like a neural stretch. You know that feeling you get behind your knee? That's like a nerve thing. That's not really a hammy thing. So that's a bit off topic, but a dynamic stretch or dynamic like movements are where we're moving through the stretch. So even if we like put our foot on like a low step and then like ease in and out of straightening the leg, that gets the actual hammy moving through range and makes them like more mobile.
Nice.
Same thing with the hip. Like find something don't just like sit in a stretch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Move through the range.
Get them warm.
Yeah.
Okay. Question 20. God, we're firing. Question 20. Do you limit/adjust your training for your heart?
Oh, this has to be someone that knows me.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't ask it.
Yeah, this has to be. Is that what they said?
Yeah.
For my heart.
Yeah. Or maybe it's just
We're pausing.
heart in general.
Do you limit adjust your training? I would say this is for my personal heart. I would say
Yeah.
this is someone who personally knows me.
They want to.
So,
Do you want to air that?
yeah, we can answer this.
Okay.
Yeah, we can air it.
Maybe should we not put the timer on? I feel a bit bad.
What, pressure on my heart? Fuck.
Stay with
so
us.
I kind of do a little bit. So I don't think I've ever spoken about my heart.
I was going to say, like, do you want to like?
yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, go.
We've all got one.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever spoken about it.
I don't think you have either. That's why I was like, oh.
So yeah, let's talk. We can talk about it for a second.
Let's
Don't
go.
put me
Segue.
on the timer.
No, segue.
So my heart. I'm trying to work out who asked this.
Maybe your mum?
It's got to be. I feel like Mum wouldn't ask that on
Yeah, I
Instagram.
Just text me.
Yeah, Mum. I'm not in the hospital. My heart is good, but it's enlarged. So when someone's heart is enlarged, and obviously my dad literally passed away in the middle of training because of an enlarged heart. So hence why they look at mine being enlarged and go, okay, fuck, obviously we got to watch it. But what they look at is the size and then the function. So when they look at the size of mine, they're like, okay, yep, it's enlarged, but the function is awesome. So go me.
Woohoo!
It's
Go
good.
Rubes.
That was the last time they looked. Now I'm all fired up on the podcast. Could be a different story. But the last time they looked was probably 2 months ago.
So.
Gee knows. I literally will say to G,
Put in my diary.
going to get my heart checked. If you don't hear from me, well, heart appointment today could go either way. No, but last time they checked, they were like, function's great, things are good. No training limitations at this time. Like sometimes when it's enlarged and then they want to check the function, they put training limitations in place. But at this time, they're like, no, all good. Obviously, if you feel like you've pushed it too hard, if you feel like there's any issues, don't keep going. And then obviously they check it all the time to make sure that that's still the case. But I obviously do, like every time I go to the heart specialist and like the cardiac team and that, they're always just like, well, in terms of what you could be doing, like they get people that come in the same position that are like smoking, drinking, overweight, like all these things. So they're like, fucking like you should have good heart function.
Yeah, you're doing all
from
the
the
right
things that I can do. Yeah, but then she's just a bit thick. I've just got a big heart.
You do.
They call me
Dig
Farlap.
down in there.
You can call me Farlap.
One of the funniest things ever. She literally dropped this on me, like on a FaceTime one day on a Zoom, and then like.
I think it was the first time I told you because I was going to the cardiologist.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
And then I
was
was
gonna
like,
give you a heads up.
how did your appointment go over text? And she was like, all sweet, eat your heart out, Farlap, or some shit like that. And I was like, what the
you're like, who do I work for?
So chill, dude.
I sent when the last time I went, I think I sent in the family group chat, like all good on the heart, and then like a dab bitmoji.
Oh my God, I can't. I literally was driving in the car like a couple days later, like thinking of like, okay, if she actually had to go into hospital, like what would I do to like
I think about this all the time.
keep this afloat? And I think I could do it 100%.
100%.
Thanks. That's probably the nicest thing you've ever said to me. Anyway.
We need to make a Notion page. If Rube's heart fails, the plan.
No, because I was like, would I go to her? I would just go to her.
My funeral.
No!
Is that what you mean? Is that what you mean?
I was just going to say I was going to just work next to you in the hospital, like in the bed. And I just pull up.
Be like live call for the fat loss phase. Okay, guys, I'm in the hospital.
I was literally like, so I just send out like an email and just be like, hey guys. Like anyway.
Fall up, out for the count.
Anyway, oh my God, stop. I have really good karma. Touch wood.
Okay.
Oh my God.
What was the actual question? Do I adjust training for my heart?
Yes. She just
only when they tell me to. But at the moment, all clear.
Yay! Woohoo! God, I'm too empathetic for this.
I'm too
When you were telling me on the
emotionally
phone,
detached.
I know. I'm like tearing up on the phone.
Literally.
And you're like laughing.
And
Anyway.
I'm like, can you actually cry after work? Because we're busy.
busy. Okay. Question 21. God.
21. Jeez, we're whipping through.
I know. If you could Question 21. If you could only do 3 glute exercises for the rest of your life, what would they be? Okay, the timer's back. Go.
Fire.
Okay.
As the kids say. Split squats, like I just said before. Mm-hmm. Hip thrust.
Yep.
I think just a good hip thrust.
Ooh, this is interesting.
I'd have to say RDL. Trap bar RDL.
I was hoping you'd say
Because we want like a push-pull thrust.
Yep.
If we can only do 3 forever. Yeah.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I got time and loo.
Time and loo for Rubes. Let's go. Okay. Question 22. Woo-oo, this is my favorite question. Only because it's 22. It's my lucky number.
Why? Because it's your birthday.
Yeah. It's on my number plate. Let's go.
I know.
If I can only gym twice a week, what should I do? Interesting question.
This is
And
great.
go.
Yeah, this is great. I would say 2 full body strength exercise days.
Yeah.
And I would go like a push pull thrust on the lower body and then a push pull on the upper.
Yep.
And then so you got 5 exercises there. That would be enough if that was enough. If you had more time, I would just have a think, is there something particular that you want to hone in on and do something like isolated? So if you want to do a hammy curl or a shoulder exercise, a leg extension, something like that. But if you're only going twice a week, 2 full bod, push with the legs, pull with the legs, thrust, and then push with the upper, pull with the upper.
Perfect.
And then anything else you wanted to chuck on.
Love. I love that. You're going to be pumped to train legs this afternoon.
Shit.
Okay. Question 23. If you could only do 3 strength exercises in general for the rest of your life, what would they be?
Oh, like so 3. Because didn't we just have that?
Yeah, well, it's more.
They were glute. And this one's in
strength,
general.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to assume this is the same person, just firing off.
Yeah, 3 of the same that you'd have to do for the rest of your life generally.
Just 3 exercises.
Yeah, you can't, you
Okay.
can only do those 3. Go.
I would do.
I think I could name them.
Go. Yeah, you try.
Actually, okay. Hammy curl, like laying hammy curl. 2 would be some sort of assisted pull up. And 3, I want to say between like a deadlift or some sort of shoulder exercise, like maybe like lateral raises or something. Or so I'm going to lock in a shoulder sort of exercise. I can't specify.
Okay.
Maybe lat raises.
Okay.
Go. What's yours?
I don't train shoulders at all.
Oh, okay. So I would like to retract that and go for deadlifts.
So what are your 3?
So my 3 is but what about split squats? You love those. Okay, my 3 is laying hammy curl, assisted pull up to some degree, and oh my god, do you love hip thrust too? No, I'm gonna go with my gut and go split squat.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, did I get it right?
No, but you've definitely on the money.
Let's go.
So like basically the 4 you were dabbling with
Yeah.
were hammy curl, split squat, hip thrust, pull up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So only in terms of bang for your buck, I would actually have to ditch my beloved hammy curl. But the other 3 are on point.
Yeah.
So split squat for sure, hip thrust, and then a pull up variation.
Yeah.
Yep. And obviously we not live for the hammy curl, but in terms of if you can only do 3 things forever, you got to get some more. It's so isolated.
That's so
You got to get
funny.
some more bang for your buck. Yeah, and I don't train shoulders at all.
Yeah, you got gun shoulders.
This is why I don't train them.
Yeah. No,
I'm trying to be less
funny.
Ian Thorpe and more Kimmy K.
That is
And
so
I'm thinking
rude.
by 2029, I might kind of get that.
So for the rest of your life, you would prefer to do this is such a Ruby summed up statement. You'd prefer to swap out your leg curl for something you really enjoy, just because something else has more bang for your buck, even though you'd enjoy it more for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's such a Ruby thing.
Classic Rubes. Classic fucking Rubes. Just building this company that we all bloody get to work in every day.
Okay, so 20, 21, 22, 23. Okay, 24.
Yeah, we definitely don't have enough.
Seated, 24. Seated hammy curl or lying hammy curl better?
Ooh.
Go.
Personally, this is actually interesting. 'Cause personally, laying hammy curl.
Yeah.
For life.
100%.
But I feel like it was a thing in the industry for years where it was almost like the seated is kind of like the beginner kind of thing, and then you progress to the laying. Like, you know, I feel like that was kind of the thing. I remember, I think it was probably around 2020, a study came out where they were like, the seated actually had higher like muscle fiber recruitment. Yeah. And I remember everyone in the industry was like, what the fuck? Wow. Attacked, because we all lived for the laying hammy curl. So there's actually studies saying that seated are a bit more beneficial. But I think that would be so dependent on genetics, strength, structure, so many things. Like what's going to be more beneficial for you and me is going to be different depending on the way you move and your structure and everything. So personally, I'd say laying. Yeah. But I think they're both good.
I think seated's harder.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward. And I think
That's
seated. What?
That's my knees.
I feel like people kind of get like a weird kind of like reefing.
Yeah.
Like kind of reef it under. You got to really you got to ditch the momentum on the seated one, even the laying one. Yeah. Because if you sort of like, if people kind of tense their whole body and then like, like to curl. Yeah. You got to ditch the groaning, and you just got to scale the weight back. Try and keep your whole body still and actually use the hammies.
Okay, question 25. How long should we spend in the gaining phase? Oh, gosh. Go.
Why do you say, oh, gosh?
I feel like that's a lengthy one.
Well, really, it's just like the longer the better.
Okay.
It's like anything in life. Like if you said, how long should I spend saving money? Well, the longer you do it, the more money you're going to have. So how long should I spend in a gaining phase? The longer you're there, the more gains you're going to have. So there's no real right or wrong on that. I would say you don't want to do less than 4 months, I would say. Anything less than 4 months, you're not going to get a lot. It's a slow process, the gains. It's very slow. It's very tedious. So muscle gain is slow. I'm going over. Okay. Over the 30, not the 60. So I would really just say like the longer the better, 4 months at least. And that's where I think it's cool if you're asking that, you're somewhat into nutrition and training on that level. I would just be looking at like, we always say sort of that like April through to Augusty kind of thing. Yeah. And if you could start a bit earlier or go a bit later, just going to get more gains.
Love. Okay, we're at question 26. Now, this was similar to what we spoke about before. Question 26 is how many times do we need to lift weights per week? So you can probably fire that off.
Yeah, we already said that. I'm so hungry. Anyway.
Do you want a snack?
No, I've had too many chocolatey snacks.
Do you want me to re-ask it?
How many times should we lift weights per week?
Yeah, do you want me to re-ask
I feel like we've answered that in lots of different ways.
Fire round.
Like we said before, I think at least 2, you can go up to 6 if you've got a good split and you've got good recovery and all the things. I think 4 to 5 is really the sweet spot.
Yeah, agreed. Cool. Just to reiterate it.
I just got some time in lieu.
You do get time in lieu, and you had a whole little hungry...
a little dummy spit about my hunger.
Yeah, dummy spit. Okay, so that's 26, so I need to come up with 4.
Yeah, do you have any on the...
Fuck.
On your head? On your head.
Yeah, I can. Okay, I might have to take a minute to like think of each one.
That's fine.
Okay, so question 27, 28, 29, and 30 are going to come from me. This one specifically.
I'm really bad at counting for this list.
That's okay. It's fine. You had enough on your plate. Thank you. Question 27 is going to be, I feel like at the moment there's a lot of rage about, about hybrid training.
Oh, yeah.
So is hybrid training for everyone? Go.
We did a hybrid ep
probably
maybe about 4 weeks ago now. So if you're super interested in that, I'd go back and listen. I think it can be for anyone. Mm-hmm. I think I said in that ep, it is just super dependent on your goals.
Yeah.
Like if you do have goals for running and strength and body composition, etc., then you want to kind of lay all them out and then like structure a training program to support that.
Yeah.
And then if you don't have those goals, I did an episode a few weeks ago, a solo episode where I spoke about my own goals and literally just said like, I don't give a fuck that everyone's running and Shaq's an Ironman and all of these things. That's not my goal. And that's totally fine if your goal is to mix it all up, if your goal is just to be a runner, if your goal is just to do gym. I just think you really need to actually think about it. And it can change over time. Yeah. Like I had running goals last year. And then, I haven't run it all this year. So I think it can be for everyone, but just have a think about your actual goals. And like side note, because goals can be, like your goal could just be like, I just enjoy going to my group class. I think I said that in the hybrid episode. Some people are just like, I just like to go to my gym class every Thursday night or whatever. So that can absolutely be a goal as well. And then you would just factor that into the plan.
This goes straight onto my question 28,
Love it.
actually. So question 28, obviously if you're a massive group fitness girly, can you still be in the Eat Like Ruby programs even though you live and breathe group fitness?
Yay, I love this. Okay, because we actually do have a few girls. So we've had a few girls that were like doing group fitness because they just kind of, I don't say this in a rude way, but they didn't know better. They sort of thought that was the answer. And then they've come over and they're like, oh my God, I'm just a gym girl now. But we also have some people that do a 3-day program for this reason. So they'll do our 3-day program, which is usually like one lower body, one upper body, one full body session. Mm-hmm. And most of them will do that. Say if you went like lower body Monday, upper Tuesday, full body Thursday, and then they'll do their group thing on like Friday, Saturday or something. Yeah. So you can absolutely do that for sure. And like watch this space, but I want to make some more options for people to do that as well. If you were like, oh, I want to train like 2 days with Rubes and like run 2 days, group fit 2 days, I want that to be available in the coming, let's say months. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But right now you can 3 days.
Nice. You smashed that. Okay. Question 29. Is it normal to have like muscle soreness after training either the day after, 2, 3?
Yes. This is a cool question because I feel like some people, if they're new to training, can kind of like freak out because of the soreness. But then I think sometimes when people are experienced, they're almost like, oh, I didn't get sore, so it mustn't have been a good sesh kind of thing. So I feel like what we got to understand, it's always going to be different for everybody and at different times. And it's really just the soreness is more like adaptation, as in the body. Essentially, for lack of a better description, it's the body basically being like, what the fuck was that? Like if you've never really lifted weights and then you just go and do like a leg session with, 15 to 20 sets in the full session, obviously the next day your body's literally just going to be like, what the fuck just happened to me? Like I've never done that before. Whereas obviously the more conditioned we get to training, the less that happens. And I think everyone can relate. Sometimes you start a new program and you just get that little bit of soreness because you've just hit your body in a bit of a different way. So it's like, oh, what was that?
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be that extreme. If you're super conditioned, you're not going to be like cooked all the time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Question 30.
This is it.
You only have 1 minute to elaborate, obviously. And the question is quite broad. Okay. Or vague, is like, what are your thoughts on when people say, I'm hitting a plateau?
Oh, fuck.
Go.
I don't even really know. Can you elaborate? Like,
you know how people always say, like, I feel like I'm hitting a plateau. I feel like I'm not seeing any difference. I feel like I'm not progressing forward. Like, what's your thoughts, suggestions, advice?
With
training?
Their body composition?
I would say so. And like feeling like they can't. They're feeling like they're hitting like that plateau is what they always say.
Yeah. I'm going to just take it in this direction because this is what I think is the most common, is people that are sort of still restrictive dieting. So I feel like people hit a plateau because when they don't have a weight loss goal. If you have a weight loss goal and you hit a plateau with a weight loss goal, you just got to like tidy up your habits and maybe increase your deficit a little bit, right? So that's sorted. But I feel like the plateau is more the people that are kind of like maintaining, building shape, getting after it in the gym. I think there can be a thing there where we're still like a little bit scared to eat and we're kind of lingering in a deficit, but then we kind of come up to maintenance and we're just kind of like chilling. In my opinion, if you've got a fat loss goal, like get in a deficit, get after it. If you're not getting after it in a deficit, get the fuck out and get on as much food as you can, like I said before you feel uncomfortable. Because really, if you think about it, like ditch the timer, we're done. But if you think about it, if we're in a deficit, like if we have a fat loss goal, we need to be in a deficit, right? If you are then like, okay, I'm not doing that anymore. Maybe I've reached my goal. Maybe I'm having a break, whatever. Why would you not eat as much as you can, but without feeling uncomfortable? Like, why would you not find that edge? Let's say, or use myself as an example. My deficit is around 15 or 1600. I maintain usually when I start to come up towards like 18 or 19, and then I'll start like gaining weight when I'm more like 2400-ish calories. And I've spoken about this before. All these things will be arranged. So if we think about that, if I was like, okay, I have a fat loss goal, I'm getting after weight loss, whatever, I'd go down to 15 or 1600. if I had decided like I've either achieved that goal or I've decided like, nope, I'm a bit over it, I'm not going to push this any longer, whatever, why would I go to like 1850 calories?
Yeah.
Like, why would I not just go to 2,300? I know I can maintain there. And if we think about then like building shape, increasing strength, increasing performance, all of these things, again, you want to have as much energy in your system, as much fuel in the tank to do that before you spill over into a point of uncomfortable weight gain, whatever.
Yeah.
So if you're in a plateau, I would just look and say, I think people do this all the time, even if we think about those numbers. People are like, oh, my deficit's over, I achieved my fat loss or whatever. But there's still a massive resistance and fear to just actually eating a good amount of food and getting after it. So they're sort of hanging in that like, 1,800, 1,900, whatever. It's not enough for you to achieve fat loss, but it's not enough for you to feel fucking awesome and send it in the gym. So you really are just kind of hanging in between. I would just be like, what is my actual goal right now? If it's fat loss, if it's deficit, whatever, actually get in there and get after it. If it's not, get as far away from it as you can to make the most of everything else.
Mic drop.
Thoughts?
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah. And this is something I speak about heaps because it's a massive mental and emotional thing for people that have pursued weight loss their whole life and eaten low calorie their whole life and whatever. When I'm just like, fucking eat more, eat more, eat more. And I think people kind of go back and forth. They're like, oh, it's exciting, cool, like 2,200 calories, whatever. They do it for a few days. We're all female, emotions kick in. You have a fat day, you have a bad day. Fuck, I'm going back to 1,700.
Yeah.
People sit there for a few days. No, fuck it, Rubes told me to eat more. Get back up, sit there for a few days. You go back and forth, and that is a plateau. When someone is just like, few low days, few high days, change my training program, fuck, get on the stepper because I feel like shit, got to burn some calories. It's very frantic, it's very lost. I would be like, get super clear on the goal and then get in the most optimal position to achieve that goal.
Yeah. Well said, Rubes.
Yeah, I'd say wrap it up there, boys.
Amazing.
Tools down.
Yay! Double ep done.
Whoop, whoop.
Make sure you go watch last week's for all our 30 nutrition questions. It was also as great.
Yeah. And thank you so much for coming, G.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Great
and
hosting.
Rubes.
Great
Thank you.
question asking. We'll be back next week. I think I'll solo it next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too sure what that'll be about, but I'm sure I'll find something to crap on about for 40 minutes.
Cool.
And I feel like that's all.
Great. Okay.
Yeah, join the Eat Like Ruby Fat Loss phase, join Eat Like Ruby training. Otherwise, if you're not going to do that, don't complain to me that you don't have any results.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night, day, afternoon,
Yeah.
and we'll see you next time.
See ya. Bye.